Hello there and welcome back to Model Rail Scotland 2022. My name is Mike Edwards and it's my privilege to be your host this year. The layouts here are on display again, having spent a year on the sidings because of course of the pandemic. We got away with it in 2020, we had to suspend activities in 2021 because of COVID. Well, here we are back on the main line. The green all clear light is showing and it's clear road ahead for this year's exhibition. And we're better to start than this remarkable double O gauge layout. Blair Atholl towards Drumochter by the Scottish Diesel and Electric Group. It is magnificent. Let's speak to the man behind the club, behind the layout. Ian, where do you start? What a remarkable piece of work.
Thanks.
Talk us through it.
Thanks, Mike. The concept from this came originally from family holidays in Blair Atholl, and my younger years being up in the signal box and getting the opportunity to pull levers and operate the gates. My late father was responsible for the buildings, and it was one of those things that I think he started with the signal box in the station, and we thought, well, why not make something out of this?
I grew up in Inverness. My father was in the railway. The railways was where I grew up, so I know this line and these trains and this station for real. And the rolling stock, we're looking at some old Mark 1s there. Talk us through the...
Yeah, at that point the trains ran around 7 or 8 coaches long. There was proper catering facilities. You could actually have a buffet car you could go up and buy something at and sit and drink. First class coaches were in compartments. And possibly even heated by steam in those days. That was early 1980s.
And the buildings, for me, look at the Atholl Arms Hotel, which I know well, and I used to take my mum for a pub lunch through the
Tulloch bar.
In there, and there was a beautiful fire, which just and seeing this model just takes me back there.
Indeed, all of the buildings were constructed out of cardboard. The stonework's hand scribed onto them, and this was all done at a time where computers were pretty much non-existent in the hobby, so everything was hand measured, scaled up, worked and created from there.
And the vehicles too, clearly they don't move, and that's fine. We all have our little things, but the vehicles are of the period and are perfect, I would say. And heading south again, we've got is this a P-way train or is it a ballast train?
Yeah, we've got a P-way train of ballast. Presumably heading for some kind of rail work somewhere. Double-headed Class 20s locomotives.
Because I remember for real, when those works were happening and we were getting the sleeper train from London, it would go via Aberdeen.
Yes.
To allow that kind of train to do its stuff on Saturdays and Sundays particularly. Talk us through the yard at the back, because if I'm being honest, I don't remember. I may have been before my time.
Right. At the time of the doubling of the track, they used that as a permanent way base for loading, unloading ballast, rail panels and so forth to facilitate the works. Currently now, unfortunately, there's obviously no use for it, and it's just been allowed to overgrow to the point it's almost like a miniature forest. You can't see it if you pass through today. And
a particular favourite piece of mine is the viaduct, is the bridge.
Yeah, the river
handmade.
Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah, river tilt viaduct, bridge 86 Jai, according to Network Rail, and it spans the river tilt. Again, that's in recent years they've had completely refurbished it, and it's all been shot blasted and repainted. Maybe not quite as grand as the Forth Bridge for how often they have to do it, but
it's remarkable.
It's nice that they're looking after things.
It's a remarkable piece. Can I just say something that sticks out to me, and it's not really a railway reason, is this huge area here with I think it's a shinty pitch or football pitch, and yet the railway's behind it.
That was another idea of ours to create something that was just a bit more than model railway. We were lucky to have the space to do it, and the layout, the way Blair Atholl is laid out of the village, everything that lives between the goods shed and the far end of the old bank building at the hall is per the Ordnance Survey map locations, so it is to scale. But it gives the viewing public a huge difference in aspect. That you can stand at the bottom end, you can look right up through the station, you can stand here, and the railway in some cases becomes insignificant to the whole thing, and makes it more interesting, I think.
Ian, you're absolutely right. What a fantastic layout. Looking forward to seeing it throughout the weekend of the exhibition, and what a great way to start, but you'll be hearing a lot more from me before the finish.